This video is meant for professional tenors who attempt to learn Celeste Aida. And I'm saying if you are an amateur or early studies or even middle, intermediate level, please don't approach this aria. It is going to be very harmful for your voice, because this aria needs a real stamina, a real great muscles for appoggio, otherwise you will end up singing in the throat, and it will be both unbeautiful and both strainful for your voice. We know that Celeste Aida, most of the tenors and considered to be the most difficult aria ever written for a tenor voice. Of course, we mean Verdian tenor voice and spinto lirico or drammatico tenore in this particular case. So many people ask those who never experienced or never sang Celeste Aida, even those tenors who never sang Celeste Aida, they might not even consider that or ask me a question why it is the most difficult aria. Let me give you first the answer that any role or any aria that you're singing is very individual. Of course, there are objectively difficult roles and objectively not so difficult roles. If, let's say, we say, if you take a professional singer, opera stage, who already is on stage doing some Verdian roles, he would say that probably, I'm not saying for everyone, but he would say that Alfredo is easy and Radames is difficult. Since I already talked about it and showed you that appoggio singer should articulate much less with his throat and with his jaws and with his tongue, and rather again with appoggio technique, which is really solely the energy comes from below, and you just make a little stoppage of those consonants right in front of you. So let's say se quel guerriero fosse. Before even you start singing, I want you to practice this se quel guerriero fossi, se il mio sogno s'avverasse, appoggio. Instead of articulating it hard, like se quel guerriero fossi, se il mio. Again, I don't want to repeat myself, but since we're doing Celeste Aida lesson, that's very relevant. So let's try to sing it. Let me show you the wrong way and the correct way. Okay. Se quel guerriero fossi, se il mio sogno s'avverasse. This is wrong way. I spent a great deal of energy. And my voice is still very, very inconsistent. Se quel guerriero fossi, se il mio sogno s'avverasse. Or quite do it slow motion. Se quel guerriero fossi, se il mio sogno s'avverasse. To polish all the pressures you need here to basically take away tensions in such a difficult aria. Un esercito di prati da me guidato. Important, guidato. It's important to keep it on the same level of support. Un esercito di prati da me guidato, e la vittoria. It's important not to end up with e la vittoria or e la vittoria. Both are bad. La vittoria. On support, put it on support. La vittoria. Yeah. So you need definitely to arrange There's a position of the diaphragm when you sing Vittoria. La vittoria e l'applauso diventi tutta e l'applauso diventi tutta e l'applauso diventi tutta. It's F sharp, so again you need to make a good connection. Tutta. Tutta, not tutta, nasal, or tutto, woofy, tutta. So it's important to find, the appoggio movement is clear for those who use appoggio, but it's important to find exactly the pressure that you need to balance your voice and not to force it with all these challenging notes. Passaggio notes and also challenging vowels. That's very important to know. Next. All this has to be done in resonance, especially cinto. A lot of tenors just scream it out, cinto, but you need to get into cinto in a real resonance way. It's also okay, so that's important because you have this first very lyrical line, and so you have to make as legato as possible. And the next one is dirti, dirti. Now, you don't have to be very loud, but you have to be resonant here. Dirti, 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 per to pugnato, per to pugnato. All together. Dirti, per to pugnato. Well, if you cover this, I would suggest not to cover it. Per teo pugnato. Don't make it per teo pugnato. You know? Because it's per teo pugnato. It's not per teo pugnato. Okay? But for that one, you need to support per te pugnato, not to force it. Per teo pugnato. 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 Also important, pugnato, the same note, almost the same. Pugnato. You need a good support after coming pugnato, pugnato. So there's a difference here in pressures. So in order not to affect your voice, you need to manipulate here. Next. Important. It has to be dramatic, but again, it has to be on resonance. If you scream it out, there's a possibility you're not going to finish this aria and crack all the B flats. So it has to be resonant and dramatic at the same time. I'm not going to show you all the Aida tricks here, but more significant things like the start, Celeste Aida. Celeste Aida, forma divina. There's nothing dangerous of you opening Celeste Aida on A and supporting it. Of course, if you don't support it, then you will end up having a white voice, and it's dangerous. If you sing Celeste Aida, this way, as obviously the voice will suffer. So another solution is of closing it, making it, to modify it, to cover it. Celeste Aida-How, well, some find it beautiful. I find it less beautiful than Celeste Aida because it doesn't sound Celeste Aida, it sounds Celeste Aido. You know, if you follow the words, then you have problems. If you just follow the sound, you won't have any problems. It doesn't really matter Celeste Aida, Celeste Aido. For those who just like beautiful sound, the covering is not as bad. It just it's inconsistent with the text, and it is possible. And to my opinion, it's more beautiful to do it Celeste Aida instead of Celeste Aido. And again, it is beautiful only if you use that in good support. If you do it with a white sound, Celeste Aida, then it won't work. It will be really the worst solution of this passage. So in that case, out of two evils, I would still prefer you to do Celeste Aido instead of Celeste Aida with the open white sound. But again, there is a solution here of doing it, and it's actually easy. If you learn how to do it, it's very easy. Celeste Aida. Let's move forward. Mystica certa. Similar phrase, but now you have O. And you have to sing O and not A. Mistico certa. No, mistico certo. So it's again. Mistico certo. O, not A. Again, very well supported. It has to be supported. Now, let's skip to diction is important here, and I've heard many times people just singing something like something like this. But again, the effort and all the articulation is used by using appoggio articulation, not the mouth, intensive mouth and throat manipulation. It's all appoggio. So it's important to know that. Now we're moving a very difficult first B flat. And so on. You know, this is the place where the most tenors cheat, really. Il tuo bel cielo vorrei ridarti le dolci brezze del patrio suolo. Well, yes, it's parlante, but it still has to be on resonance. And what I hear, il tuo bel cielo vorrei ridarti le dolci brezze del patrio suolo. Again, I can say that maybe that some people regard it as expressive. Il tuo bel cielo vorrei ridarti le dolci brezze del patrio suol. But it's written on the low F. Il tuo bel cielo vorrei ridarti le dolci brezze del patrio suol. It's all written in a low. It's parlante. You don't have to be very bel cantish here, but at the same time I found it's much more beautiful to do it the way Maestro Verdi wrote. But you know, some tenors have problems of connecting this low note and speaking in resonance, so they've kind of a lot of tenors found the solution different way here, so they can use more of the exclamation technique, so they can get a little bit higher. you know. But whether it is expression or whatever, it's substituted for lack of technique. It doesn't matter. My suggestion is to do it with the low, the way Verdi wrote. You don't have to scream here because it's the orchestra part is not that loud in that moment. And of course, the last phrase. It's piano, so you can think that you may rest here, but actually you're not resting here. You're with piano, with supported piano, it gets even more difficult to produce. Oh, it's not rest for the appoggio. It's hard work here. Una trona vicino alla sol, una trona vicino alla. What is the problem with this B flat? It has two problems. We finish on sol. Sol. L is always a problem because it's a very frontal consonant, and it can easily misplace your voice, especially if you're thinking of it before actually pronouncing. Vicino al sol. The movement should be this way. Vicino al sol. There's no L in your mind or nothing. Vicino al sol. And at the very end, you just make a little last push for the L sound. In that case, you will avoid unnecessary tensions in thinking of L and subconsciously thinking of L. So, vicino al sol. You can use more open or more closed O in this, and you have to try whichever gives you the best feelings and resonance. But one rule is obvious, that you cannot just put it right in a mask, because that will disrupt the all organic connection with your low body. But you don't have to push too much of the chest where you're singing B flat. You know, it has to be connected, but you don't have to go all the way with the chest on this. Anyways, this is very important to know while singing Celeste Aida.